Hello, and welcome to our video. This is our personal top 20 Pixar couples, canon and fannon.
And if you don't know what canon or fannon means, canon is stuff that's real. Like real couples in the movies.
Fannon is established by the companies.
Fannon is the stuff we like to pretend is canon.
And it could possibly be.
Crack pairings, which you will hear us bring up, is something that you have to be on crack to ship. If you don't know what ship means, screw you.
Alright, so to start our list off, we have number 20, which is Stanley and Lizzie.
From Disney Pixar's Cars 2. Whoa.
Disney Pixar Cars! Not Cars 2.
Stanley and Lizzie are characters that people don't really know, because since Stanley isn't really a character. Stanley is the founder of Radiator Springs.
He's the statue that you'll see in the beginning of the movie, and is actually brought up prominently throughout the first movie. So if you haven't seen the first movie recently, you may not remember the statue, but anybody who's seen it recently knows who Stanley is.
And Lizzie is the crazy old lady car who looks kind of like Stanley, but in lady form. And basically, she's crazy and she talks to herself. There's actually a scene where Lightning is talking to himself, and Lizzie says, you know, if you keep talking to yourself like that, people are going to think you're crazy.
Yeah, great. Thanks for the advice.
What? I wasn't talking to you? Which makes us believe that she's totally crazy. Why are they on our list if they're just random characters that nobody really remembers? Well, I'm glad you asked. These two are actually a couple in the movie, and this is, what's what I'm looking for? This is...
Canon?
No, this is revealed in the scene where after Lightning jazzes up the town and makes it all fancy and stuff again to get to little Sally's pants or trunk or whatever the car equivalent is, and they're cruising, and Lizzie says to the Stanley statue, Stanley, I wish you could see this right now. And it kind of makes you think like, oh wow, that's really sweet. And so maybe she's not crazy and talking to herself, maybe she's just talking to Stanley like he's really there. Or maybe she is crazy, we don't know. But moving on to number 19.
Also from the Cars franchise, we have Holly and Mater from Cars 2.
Disney Pixar's Cars 2. I hate Holly.
She does.
So much.
With a passion. Quit doing this and shakes the camera.
You'll also notice I hate a lot of the female characters in Pixar, but don't mind that.
She really hates Holly more than she hates the rest of them.
Anyways, Holly and Mater have an interesting relationship. Nothing like seen in Pixar before. Because Holly thinks he's a spy.
American intelligence.
Mater thinks Holly's his girlfriend. And this all starts because Holly tells him that they have to meet secretly to discuss spy-type things, except she doesn't say spy-type things because she's a spy, that would give them away. But Mater takes it as, girl wants to get with me, like, you know, I'm still pimping right now. And of course, no one believes him. So throughout the movie...
Luigi no believe you.
So throughout the movie, Mater is telling people about how there's this really hot car that wants to get with him. And everyone's like, no, we don't believe you.
Luigi no believe you.
And through the entire movie, Holly doesn't realize that he's not a spy, and he doesn't realize Holly's not his girlfriend. And so it makes all these complexities. But at the end, when he's telling his tall tale to everyone down in Radiator Springs, then he tells them how he's his girlfriend, and they're like, yo, we still don't believe you.
Luigi no believe you.
And then Holly and Finn McMissile, British intelligence, come down because they need to recruit Mater for something for the Queen, a mission for the Queen.
She asked for him personally.
And they're like, who are you? And Holly says, I'm Mater's girlfriend. Which would be sweet if Holly wasn't such an annoying character.
And Guido believe him now.
Yeah.
Not Luigi, but Guido.
Okay, moving on to number 18.
At number 18, from Disney Pixar's Finding Nemo, we have Marlin and Coral.
Marlin, well, if you don't know who he is, watch the movie.
If you don't know who he is after the movie, give yourself a nice hard smack to the face.
If you don't know who Coral is, we don't blame you. I didn't know who she was either, for a really long time. Then I realized she was Marlin's ex-wife, as a term to use, because she got eaten by a shark.
And now Marlin's a widow.
basically what happened was they're all being lovey-dovey, Gucci-goo, let's be married forever and have 18 million kids.
But here's the creepy thing, okay? Like, do you know how they met? A lot of people don't remember this because it's such a minor detail. But he's like, do you remember when we met? We were at the drop-off.
Wait, the drop-off?
Yeah, the
like
drop-off.
where Nemo got abducted?
Yep. Why do you think he didn't want to take Nemo to the drop-off?
I just thought he was an annoying parent.
Yeah. So he's like, we had the drop-off, and I was all like, excuse me, miss, I think there's a hook in my lip. Could you check? Just come closer to my lip.
So anyway, he basically wants to make a bunch of babies with her, even though they have 400 in a nice little rock thing right next to them.
So they're anemone.
Which is where they go next when they're looking at the babies. And Marlon says, this half can be Coral Jr., this half can be Marlon Jr. And she says, I like Nemo. He says, okay, one of them can be Nemo. I like most of them to be Marlon Jr. Anyways, so they're sitting there and they're kind of laughing and they're like, hee hee hee. And then the shark comes and Marlon's like, in the anemone. And Coral's like, and Marlon's like, get in the anemone now, bitch. And then Coral's just like freaking out a little. She's just like stunned because she wants to protect her babies. So what does she do? She does the dumb thing, and instead of going back to the anemone, tries to protect her kids. And so the shark goes and he eats her and most of the babies, and then leaves the little one, who we find out is named Nemo, even though I think Finding Marlon Jr. would be a much better title. Anyways, they go, and so it's kind of sweet how Marlon names the baby Nemo after Coral dies.
I still think their relationship is creepy. It's built entirely on sexual tension.
Which brings us to why they're so low on the list. Because if we never really saw them develop as a couple, and really all we ever saw was them flirting with each other and getting mad because she wouldn't come to the anemone. So.
Okay, at number 17 from the Disney Pixar Toy Story franchise, especially Toy Story 3, we have Rex and Trixie.
And what is great about these two is they have what I like to call the best relationship possible. An online relationship. And
like eHarmony or Match.com or Lava Life.
Or the Christian one. But anyways, most people don't really get why we think that it's an online relationship. But in the movie, it is a canon fact that Trixie was talking to a dinosaur online from just down the street. Moments later, they find out that Andy lives just down the street. And sure, okay, it's a nice neighborhood, maybe there's other kids and other dinosaur toys. But really, how many other dinosaur toys would go on online internet, things like that?
Yeah, it's like, take the percentage of kids, and then from those kids, how many people in the neighborhood have kids? How many of those kids dinosaur toys? How many of those dinosaur toys are going to go online? We have a pretty good chance that it's Rex. And then later, when they meet in real life, she introduces him to the world of either, like, it's like World of Warcraft or RuneScape or one of those.
And then they bond, and even though it's not canon, it pretty much could be. There's just no exact sign of it.
And Trixie is a plant eater, so Rex can be the dominant predator.
Okay, moving on to number 16, our first crack pairing. I'll take this one because I put them on the list. She didn't even want to put them on the list. So, here we have, from Disney Pixar's Finding Nemo, Gurgles and Jocks, and yes, they are both males. But, who are they? Well, to answer that question, Gurgles is the little purple fish in the tank.
He's my favorite.
In the dentist office, who goes, shark bait, ooh, bop, ba-doo. And also the one who's like, don't you people realize we're swimming in our own here he comes! That's Peach. And Jacques is the little crab guy who cleans up after them. He's like the love child of Lumiere and Sebastian and the little guy on Wall-E who cleans everything. Goes zzz. Because he's a crab, he's French, and he cleans everything. But why would they be a couple? Well, it is a known fact, a canon fact, that Gurgles is a homophobe. I mean, a germaphobe!
She meant to say germaphobe. She did not mean to say homophobe.
I'm
she
so
meant
sorry.
to say germaphobe.
You can take it from here.
Right? Basically, the analogy she wants to make is that Gurgles is afraid of germs and Jack cleans up the germs. So Gurgles is like the dad who goes and works, and Jack is the mom who stays in the kitchen. Oh my god, I can't believe you said homophobe.
I can't believe it either.
Anyway, so I'm gonna stop this now, and part 2 should be up shortly. I'm sorry!